Hello everybody, here I am in my kitchen and I'm gonna film one of my recipes, one of my favorite recipes, because people always see me posting them and they want to know how do you make those, and this is a very simple one. I have here one of my favorite recipe books. This is no longer available, but I'll post this recipe below the video, and I'm changing it up a little, and that's what I always recommend people do. I recommend people make the recipe exactly the way the ingredients are the first time, and then from there you could change the ingredients a little based on what you have or taste or so on. So this is calling for some coconut milk and coconut water. I don't use canned coconut milk from the store, so I actually got coconuts from my tree that I'm going to be using. Now you might not have a coconut tree and you might not have access to a coconut, but if you go to any international market, they often have these white looking coconuts, and they're the same things as these without the green husk. Also, the recipe calls for orange juice. I don't have any orange juice, so I am going to use frozen mangoes instead of the orange juice. So that just gives it a little different flavor. The name of this recipe is a curry coconut soup. Curry coconut soup. So you can put everything in any order you'd like, but basically, first thing I'm going to put in is I have some frozen mangoes here that I've had from my tree for the summer, and I'm going to put some here. And the exact amount, it doesn't say, because basically the recipe calls for, as you'll see under the video, the recipe calls for 1 cup of fresh orange juice. So I want to put the equivalent of the mangoes as 1 cup of orange juice, but at the same time orange juice would be more liquid, so I'm going to put a little bit more liquid when I blend this up later. So the mangoes had thawed out. They were frozen earlier and they thawed out, so I'll put the equivalent of about 1 cup of orange juice, which would be about 1 cup of mangoes. Okay, so, and remember, if you're never sure about ingredients, you could always put less and add more later. It's always easier to add more than to take out. So that's the first ingredient here, would be either the orange juice or the mangoes. Okay, so the next ingredient is 1 avocado. Now I have 2 avocados here to show you. This one is a Hass avocado from California or Mexico. This one is a Florida avocado, much bigger. There's so many different varieties of avocados. So I'm not sure. I know this one is good in terms of it's not overripe. I'm not sure about this Hass one, so I'm going to check to see if it's overripe or not. And it doesn't matter which avocado you use. I don't know anything well to substitute an avocado, but this one's decent enough. So I'm going to use 1 avocado. So that's half of avocado. Okay, so there's 1 avocado in there with the mango. So now the next thing it's calling for is ginger. I'm not going to put ginger in here because I don't have ginger. I also love this recipe book because it doesn't use garlic or onions, and I'm not a big fan of garlic or onions, so I try to make my recipes without garlic or onions. But what I do have for my fresh spices here is I have some basil, which it calls for, and again the exact amounts are below in the description, the recipe. And then we have some cilantro. So I have some basil and some cilantro, and then we're going to put in a date, 1 Medjool date. And we're going to take the seed out of the Medjool date and put that in here. Some people might question the food combining aspect of doing it that way, but you know, a lot of recipes, commercial recipes, will add sugar. Literally just add sugar to a soup or something. The date is kind of like the sugar in there, and it's a Thai coconut curry soup. So there's going to be some type of sweetener, and that's our sweetener for this. And it's not going to make a big difference if it's just 1 date from that standpoint. The mango as well is sweet. That's the type of flavor we're looking for. It's not a sour flavor, it's a sweet flavor. That's why so many people love this recipe so much. Then we're going to take our curry powder, and this really gives it that international flavor, that curry flavor, and we're going to do 2 tablespoons. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of curry. So we got our curry. Then we're going to take a little bit of cayenne. We're going to take a little bit of cayenne pepper, just a little bit. Again, a lot of people don't like this because it makes it a little hot or spicy. So if you don't want it spicy, you could use less of this. But I always just suggest like a pinch of it, and you could always add more if need be. All right, so we're getting down to most of the ingredients here. And then we're going to take some nama shoyu, which is a soy sauce. And we're just going to take about a teaspoon of that. We got that. And then next we're going to take some sea salt. I'm using Himalayan sea salt. And again, it's better to put less because you could always add more later if need be. And then next thing we're going to take is we're going to take some fresh basil, which I already put in there. Now, here's the interesting part. We're going to do the coconuts. Now, I want to describe these coconuts to you. Again, if you go to a local international store, you can get these little white coconuts that are the same exact things as these. They're not the hairy brown coconuts you're used to seeing in the store. Actually, they are, but these are young coconuts. When they get more mature, they get like it. So there's two kinds I have, and I wanted to show you both one. This one I just chopped off my tree a few minutes ago, and on the inside, you can see how that is. Now the water is delicious, and I'm going to use the water as my liquid, but the meat in here is very thin and too thin for the recipe, because normally we were going to use coconut milk, that canned coconut milk you'd find in the store. So if you look at that, this is how a coconut looks, and I just love the taste of it, but it almost looks like egg whites almost. So many people have never seen a coconut like this, but this is a true coconut, and that's how it looks. So I'm using the juice from this coconut, the water from this coconut, but it's a little too thin to use for this recipe. So this is another coconut that looks the same from the outside, but if you look on the inside of this one, this is much thicker. I can't just simply take it like that. And this looks more like traditionally what we're used to, but it's not as thick yet. It's still somewhat soft. So I have this cool little tool here that helps me get this out. So I just go around the edges and I could just pull this right out. So since I don't have the coconut water from the supermarket, I have a combination of the coconut meat, which I have right here. I already took it out. So there's the coconut meat. I have a combination of that plus the coconut water that I just got from that other coconut. So I'll just put this. And again, the amounts for everything are below in the ingredients in the recipe. But basically that's it. And I'm just going to blend this up, and I'm using my vacuum blender that I was telling everyone about. It's really wonderful. So now I have an avocado in there and I have a coconut in there, so it's kind of fatty and it might be hard to blend up. That's why with the liquid it'll make it easier. So basically I put the cover on here like this. And if you don't know about these vacuum blenders, you definitely have to see the video I did on this. Close this up. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly just pulse blended it just to make sure I had enough liquid in there. And now it's going to do itself. And this is the beauty of the vacuum blender. And it's going to start, right now it's sucking all the air out of it. That's why this blender will preserve it for so much longer. It's sucking all of the air out, so it'll last a lot longer. The food's not oxidizing. And when all the air's out, it's going to start automatically blending. That's what's so cool about this blender. And it's not expensive. This blender was pretty inexpensive. And I use it now exclusively. I just love this blender. So it's going to start blending here in the middle, and the longer it takes to suck out the air, that means that's how much air was in there. And you definitely notice a difference, especially if it lasts longer than eating it right away. If it's in the fridge, this will last a couple of days in the fridge, as opposed to if I didn't have this vacuum blender, it wouldn't last as long. So now it's going to start blending, and it kind of pulse blends it, so it's going to do it again. So everything's broken down in there. And there it goes. So all right, for the purpose of the video, I'll stop that, and then well, we'll go a little bit longer here. Let's go. Okay. Okay, so now the recipe calls for taking sliced up red peppers, or you could take some other ingredients if you like. An avocado you could put in there, zucchini you could put in there, and basically tomatoes go great in this. I like to put sauerkraut, some sprouts, some tomatoes, some red pepper if I have it, some zucchini. You just chop it up and you put it right in there. But now that it's done blending, Now listen to this. This is really cool. This is all the air's out of this, so listen to this. That's all the excess air that was used when this was blending. So now that this is blended, oh, it smells so good. This is my favorite recipe right now. And there it is. So I'll put that in a plate, and then I'll chop this up. I'll chop some vegetables up and put them in there, some tomatoes, maybe some avocado, some red pepper, some zucchini. I have some raw food crackers, and I also have some sauerkraut. I love sauerkraut in my soups. And that is my favorite soup recipe right now. And I will put this, the recipe again below the videos, and remember, video in the description. It's not difficult to make, folks. This might seem difficult because I have fresh coconuts and frozen mangoes, but you could easily go to Costco or a local store and get mangoes. But you don't even need mangoes. You can do it with orange juice, which you can get just about anywhere. The coconuts you can get just about anywhere, and if it's easier to use a canned coconut, if that's what you have to do to make this, that's fine. Everyone loves this. Even my children love this, and it's healthy, it tastes great, and it's less filling. All right, so there it is. Put your comments and questions below the video, and there's more videos and recipes on my member website, broadlifehealthshow.com. If you are a member, thank you very much. If you're not a member, please go there and check it out. Until then, everybody, have a great day and a great raw life.